Men in Black International. Surprising sequel or forgettable? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we're going to be talking about Men in Black International, the latest addition to the Men in Black franchise. And, is it a worthy addition? Let's go ahead and talk about it. So basically, the story or, plot of this film is you have Tessa Thompson's character, Molly, who they show her as a child, and she has an experience with the Men in Black because they're a little alien creature ends up visiting them, and so the Men in Black come down, wipe her parents' memory, but they don't wipe hers. So she, remembers this whole experience and basically becomes obsessed with finding, this agency for the rest of her life, growing up, and that leads her to discovering the Men in Black. And ends up, she's trying to get herself recruited by them, and then she ends up linking up with Chris Hemsworth's character, and they go on a mission to London, trying to figure out if there is a possible mole in the Men in Black agency. And then there's aliens trying to get this certain weapon device for certain reasons, and da 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 da. You kind of get the picture from there. So overall, as far as, the Men in Black franchise goes, I really like the first one. I know a lot of people do. That was kind of, when Will Smith was really hot at the time and was putting out all those, action, sci-fi, all those different films. And the first one was, I'd say, like a 90s classic. I don't know, it'd be like an overall classic, but it was a good time. The characters of Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith worked well together. For both, 1, 2, even the little bit that they were in 3 together. 2 wasn't that great. Actually, 3 wasn't that great a movie either, but they had good chemistry, and there was some memorable aliens and characters throughout the films. So that brings it to, Men in Black International. So this is kind of a reboot, spin-off thing. It definitely hints at that the previous events happened. So it is all in the same universe, because you do, at one point, there's a couple Easter eggs. You see a painting of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones's, characters. So it's cool that you got those little Easter eggs for the fans. But overall, I would say the best thing about this movie is definitely, speaking in chemistry, is Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson's characters. And I think, part of that comes from them working in the MCU together. So they, were a really good pair, and, the banter back and forth between them, the different comedic moments, dialogue, stuff like that, worked really well. So they're easily the best parts, as well as Camille Nagiati. Don't know if I'm saying his last name right. But he plays a little character, which you've seen in the trailers, Pawnee. He's a little guy, and he has armor on and stuff like that. And I thought he was a pretty funny character. He definitely brought a lot of the comedic relief to the film as well. So those were definitely, I think, the best parts of the film. Unfortunately, everything else was pretty forgettable, or just kind of meh, at least from me. They're really, like I mentioned, in the previous Men in Black films, some of the aliens and stuff like that were, recognizable characters, or they popped up and they're memorable. Unfortunately, with a lot of these characters, even the human, actors and stuff like that, there's really no one that I feel like anyone's going to remember, years from now. I honestly, overall, just as a movie, I don't think you're going to remember really seeing this in probably a couple months, unfortunately. Because there's nothing really that sticks out. It's a pretty basic plot, basic story. It's definitely not a disaster. I think the ratings it's got a 21%, something like that on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's definitely getting hammered by the critics. And I don't think it's that bad. You can go there and still enjoy it for what it was. Just don't go in with overall really high expectations. It's definitely, I feel a good example of a studio going through the catalog and being let's look at some of our older franchises and see what we can kind of dig up and maybe, bring back, because this will, it has a fan base. This can make us some money. So yeah, just a lot of forgettable, especially as far as the villains go. It's these two weird aliens that they can change matter, manipulate matter and stuff like that, and they just have absolutely no personality at all. So it's you don't they're just kind of there, I guess is what I would say. So yeah, the biggest thing for me, very forgettable. Some of the jokes land, some of them don't. So overall, just kind of a meh movie-going experience for me, which when this was coming out, I wasn't super pumped to see it, but I remember seeing the first trailer and was like, oh, like this actually looks like it could be entertaining. But yeah, it was okay. So, I mean, as far as a rating goes, I would probably give this a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's definitely not a disaster, but by no means is it something that I'm going to be lining up to go get when it comes out on Blu-ray or digital, in a couple months. So let me know what you guys thought of the film if you have seen it down below in the comments. Are you guys a Men in Black fan? What is your favorite film from the franchise so far? And do you think we're going to be getting any more of these? So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button, so that way you get notifications for all my videos. And as always, guys, make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.